Hello, so this video is about files and attachments in Salesforce and how we can use files and attachments and display them in your records. But when Lightning came out, Salesforce decided that attachments were going to be no longer used and we're going to move to files. So files are good. It killed off the horrible experience of content libraries in Classic. That was just such a terrible move to have content libraries, and files is so much better than that for content libraries. But it also killed off attachments on records and the ability to view attachments on emails and the documents tab, and which is still absolutely needed. And so we're going to go through all of that and how to continue to use attachments in some way, and then also to how emails work and also documents. So the premise for this video was that initially I've been wanting to do this video for a long time, but just it prompted me the other day when I saw the new Salesforce Optimizer app, which you probably should have a go at having a look at, Salesforce Optimizer. And it has all these horror stories saying, you've got to move to files, you've got to move to files, you've got to move to files. So convert attachments to files. Convert your existing notes and attachments to Salesforce files with this attachment to files app. And then there's another one which is notes and attachments related list. Convert your existing notes and attachments to Salesforce files. And then replace your notes and attachments related list on the files related list. These are all the page layouts where we've got the attachments related list. You can't have the attachments related list. I've got this other one for files adoption. I don't know what that is because it's got a recommendation there. This is one for documents. So I did Optimizer in two orgs, and this one came up in the other org. So this one is about files adoption, which is, again, when you don't have any recommendations, it doesn't tell you what the recommendation is, but there's something on this recommendation that says something around moving your documents to files also. Lovely idea. It's just not practical to move all your attachments and documents to files. Okay, so let's start with documents first. In Classic, you've got Documents tab, and a lot of apps use that for the files that are in their app, and the images or anything that's in the app. So they, unless that app has updated to use files, you can't really remove the access to the Documents tab. You still sometimes need to go back into the Documents tab. So at the moment, you have to switch to Salesforce Classic and go to the Documents tab to get to the documents. So there's no point in converting those to files because they're not going to work because the app is expecting it to be in documents. And so I've just got a simple Lightning app here with just accounts and contacts here. I've got some one record, and I've got some notes and attachment and some files. So you can see here that files, the sample XLS file, is in both the notes and attachments related list and the files related list. Salesforce wants you to remove the notes and attachments related list and add the files related list and the notes related list. I don't ever use notes. They're not particularly useful for many of my clients. So, but I still need this notes and attachments related list because I still have got lots of attachments being created. Now, I did this document back in 2019 as to why I still need to use attachments, and just looking at some of the major apps. Some of the major apps have now moved to files, like Conga. You can use files. DocuSign now writes to files, but it means you've got to go and change a whole DocuSign setup. DrawLoop doesn't use files, but again, you've got to go and change all your setups. So that's fine, but then you've got all of your custom integrations that have been done by external developers, and then you've got to go and pay those external developers to change the way that they attach documents to your records in Salesforce, because the attaching an attachment is really easy via code, but attaching a file via via the API or via code is actually really quite difficult. There's about 3 different objects and you've got to work out exactly how it goes. And there's no libraries out there that has just been, you know, updated to say this is the best practice. Rather than doing attachments, now you do files. So of course a developer that's just, you know, doesn't know Salesforce very well is going to go and use an existing library, and that's going to use attachments, and you're going to keep having attachments related to your records. So I just think it's not feasible at the moment to remove notes and attachments. So the other thing is the process of converting files to notes and attachments. So I've got one client where the optimizer said, you have 89,000 attachments. You need to convert them all to files. Now, I had another client that had 10 years of attachments and had to convert those to files. It was such a difficult process, and I've documented it here. And it's impossible to keep it up. It took weeks to do. It is complete. I stuffed up things. It was just such a horrible job. I don't want to ever do that again. So I'm trying to find a way of not converting any other clients' files, attachments to files. But sometimes we might need to. So we've just got to come up with a balance. Just because Salesforce says you've got to use files, I don't think it's necessary to have to use files. Now, remembering that in cases, the attachments can stay there fine. Okay, so when we're talking about this today, we're not going to talk about cases, because the way cases handles the files and attachments is still quite different. I don't know why, but it is. So I think there's less imperative to move attachments if you use cases. But that's just my experience. So the app that they recommend to move files to attachments to files is this Magic Mover. But again, it's really designed for a small number of files that are not very old, and it's a big job. Luckily, I had done a download of all the files first, so I could recover from all of the issues that I created. There's also this app, which is by Doug Ayres, which is Convert Attachments to Salesforce Files. And this was the first one, and I think I like this one a little better, but they're both, you know, it's a huge job, a huge undertaking to do it. And if you've still got attachments coming in from any app, or you've got any app that still uses attachments or still uses documents, then you're not going to be able to do this job in full. Okay, so what we're trying to do is work out, well, how can we use both files and attachments? So you can see here the files are in both lists, but the attachments, this is an attachment, doc is only in the attachments list, and there's no way you can see it in the files list. So in Classic, on the account record, you could see the attachments from the contact records associated with that. So we'll go to Lauren and we will attach a file. So notes and attachments, will attach a file, and we'll choose the file, and we'll do, this is an attachment on Lauren, attach file, done. This is an attachment for Lauren. It's just so we know exactly that is what that one is. Okay, and then we go back to United Oil and Gas, and we see notes and attachments. This is an attachment for Lauren, but in the files list we can't see this is an attachment for Lauren. Okay, so now if we switch back to Lightning Experience, and we go to our notes and attachments list, we can't see that this is an attachment for Lauren. Okay, so we can't see Lauren's files on United Oil and Gas Corp. So again, that's something that Lightning has taken away from you, that you can't see those rolled up attachments on the account record. So you could handle that by, when you are converting your files, you could also add the contact record. If you've got files on the contact, you could also add the account ID to that contact, so that they would show up and be shared with both the contact and the account. But again, every single time you add a new file, you're going to have to manage that, which is not what you want to be able to do. This, unless you can build something automated that does that, you're not going to be able to keep that up. So you've got to be able to do something that is sustainable. Okay. And then there is attachments with email. So in Classic, it was pretty easy. You could just click on the email and see the attachments right then and there. Here, it's just a bit more, you can see the attachments right there and there if it is enhanced email. So, but again, if you've got 10 years of emails with attachments on them, you don't want them to have them not be visible, like to go through a big long list. So here you've got no more past activities here because this is just a developer org. But when you've got 20 years of, or 10 years of emails, you've got to keep going down and then see that they've got, some of them got attachments, then look at that to see what the attachments were. So in Classic, there was this great app which was called Attachment Converter or something, that would take the attachments out of the email and add them to the object. So that was a really great little app. Now that now happens as standard in cases. Okay, if you've got, I think you've got to have the case feed set up, but don't take my word for that one. So, but just because an attachment is in an email does not mean that it's lesser of an attachment that we don't want to see on our record. So this is a couple of problems we're trying to solve. We want to see all of our notes. We want to see all of our files. We want to see all of our attachments. We want to see all of our files that are attached to emails. We want to be able to see documents in Lightning, and whatever other bonuses we can get, that would be great. Now remember that in Lightning now, whenever you upload files or add files here, you're adding them as files. You don't have any ability to add them as attachments in Lightning anymore, but you can still add them as attachments in Classic, and I'll show you some apps that we can now still add attachments in Lightning if we need to. Again, I still recommend you use files. You can see the difference between attachments there. It doesn't have the different icons, and it doesn't preview. So if we click on the preview, see, it just downloads it. It's not a very good thing. Whereas we've got a file, it's going to load a preview. So, and we've got the ability to share files publicly, and so much more ability for files to do good things, but we're still going to have to deal with attachments. Okay, so what I did is I have gone through the Appexchange and looked for every single app that is related to files, and there's a whole lot of components. There's just an absolute treasure trove of components here that are already built for you to use in your Lightning apps. So there's a whole lot of components related to files, and there's a whole lot of apps related to files. So I have written a document for you, which I will link in the description, which is every single file, component, app, etc. that I've tried to look at and find on the Appexchange, and how it works and whether I would recommend it. What I was trying to find is the absolute be-all and end-all one app that's going to do the job, and there isn't one. Unfortunately, I found out there isn't one. And I still don't have a good solution after doing a review of every single one of these apps. Don't have a great solution, but I just wanted to run through with you all of the different options. So what I've done is on my sales app, I've installed all of these, every single one of these components and apps, and I have put them on this record. Okay, so I've still got my notes and attachments and my files. So you can see I've just created a different layout on this page on the Sales app for accounts than I have on the other Lightning app. So the very first component to talk about is the Doug Ayres' related files component. So this is again another community component by Doug Ayres, which solves the problem of viewing the related files on related records. It is the most perfect app that you can probably find, except for one thing. Okay, so it's probably two things. So when you set it up, you tell it which related objects you expect to have files on that you want to see in this component. So here I've said I want to see contacts and I want to see emails. So we can see here emails, and we should see the title. Now it's interesting that with the enhanced email, which again, definitely turn that on, and it will convert all of your attachments that are on emails to files. With enhanced emails, it saves the files as files. It saves they're called attachments on the email, but they are files. So we can use this related files component to see this. But we can't see any of these. But if we had an attachment on the contact, let's have a look at the contact, we can see that we added an attachment, that one that was attachment for Lauren, on a contact, and we can't see this on this list. So this here is one of the issues that is difficult about this this app. And the other thing it doesn't tell you which contact it's on. And you can see on a small screen, it's got some issues where it sort of goes over the edge of the screen. That's not a huge deal. It's just a bit annoying. But again, I'd love to see a little bit more customization on it. And I'd like to see which contact this is related to. And then I'd like to see, absolutely would want to see which I want to see attachments on this. So I've added include attachments. So there's a ticket on here to ideally customers would migrate their attachments. Ideally, it's just not practical. So I did a big +1, please, please, please. I've done, tried it. I need your beautiful component to display attachments. Please come in here and add your comments, add your +1s, and hopefully we can get this one added to include attachments, because it would just be the perfect solution if it had attachments. Now we know that Doug now works for Salesforce, so it doesn't have enough time to work on these side projects now. So the likelihood is it's would have to be someone else in the community maybe that can do it. But if you're a developer and you want to come and do this, please, we need this, we absolutely need this. But this app just solves an amazing problem, and just shows you all of the files on emails. So this having just at least the files and the emails related to the contacts, because the emails are related to the account directly anyway. So here's the activity. We can see those emails that it's sent to Lauren, and so all of those attachments are on there. So that's fabulous. And it's like, especially when you've got DocuSign documents and you've got DocuSign documents that are attached to another object, you can see those here also. It's a really good app. So the next one in the list, so I'm not going in any particular order. So this one is the Documents Organiser. And I've made some notes as I was installing them. They had some issues. So this one I quite like. It does the job. It's got we can sort by images or documents. But it's only the documents on this record, and it's not attachments. So we can't see any of those attachments there. But it's got previews. because this is all sample files, so sample text files, it's got previews there. Okay, let me show you the place that these files come from. It's a great site, samplevideos.com. Excellent site just to be able to download a whole heap of files of particular sizes and types. So this one, it's a really good, just a really good images. Yeah, it's not going to do that. Let's have a look at a kitten. These kittens are from another great site, which is like Lorem Ipsum for images, and that's where these, you can just do a URL to grab an image. So that's a great site also. So yes, this one's really good. You can sort by name, size, type. You can sort by kitten. You can filter by kitten. Kitten, spell it right. See all the files by kittens. You can upload files. You can drop files. It's again a really good app. So I would put both of those two apps on my pages whenever I have files at any point in time. I would still have to have the notes and attachments list, but at this stage, but I would still use this one. Okay, so next one is called Library Explorer, and there's a number of these apps that are very similar to named, and it might get a little confusing. There's two. There's one called File Explorer, and there's one called Lightning File Explorer. Okay, so this is Lightning File Explorer, which looks like this one, and this one is File Explorer, okay, which looks like this. Now, I think both of those are Labs apps. No, that one's not a Labs app. So a lot of these are Labs apps. So Lightning File Explorer is a Labs component, which is this one, Lightning File Explorer, and it's it's pretty cool. Lightning File Explorer. Let's have a look at that one first. So what it does is it allows you to put things in folders. So you can put things in folders, and then you can also tag files. So it's got different tags. So I can modify this tag, edit the tag of cat, save that, and search for cat, and it shows you files that are tagged where folders exist or files exist. So if I do kitten, we've got a folder of kitten and files of kitten. So this, and yeah, click here to synchronize. So I don't know what it's doing behind the scenes, that it just needs to be synchronized. So it's got the nice little icons. I really quite like it. So if you need to have a different way, and it's got the little previews, but then you can just do the big preview, you can do the edit of the file details, all that sort of stuff. You can open those. So I really like this app if you want to have much more customization of the way your files are displayed. And I think you have to have a very static file list against your objects for this app to work, but I really do like this app. Now this one here is different. This is a Library Explorer, and I have still kept it on this page, but it is probably best on an app page because it is an explorer for the actual the file library. So again, the file libraries can be sometimes a little bit difficult to use. So this is a really nice app for when you want to look at your file libraries in a better way. But this is not a component that really belongs on a record detail page. I just put it here for now. Okay, so the next ones, yes, we'll close those down. Okay. So next one is Enhanced Files List, and that one is quite a different one. It's just a list of files data. Okay, so let's have a look at this one, Enhanced Files List. So very basic. If you want a list like this, it's not too bad. It's got links to the preview. and the view file details here. You can filter by title. Can't save the filter, but that'd be nice. But when we have filtered related lists, maybe we'll be able to do that. And what you can do is you can open multiple and view the selected files, and it pops up a preview with multiple. So that can be really handy too if you want that. So again, I don't mind this app. You choose, when you set it up, you choose which columns you want. You can edit within the list. So if you want a list of files, this is not bad. Okay, so I don't mind this one at all. So next one is, again, we've got two that are very similar. Document Manager. Okay, let me find it. Documents Organizer and Document Categorize. Okay. Document Organizer and Document Manager. It looks like this one. Okay, yeah. These two very different apps. So Document Manager. I just can't recommend this one. But I like the concept, but it's just a bit weird. So basically, it's not showing you your files that are related to your files that are on your page. So, but you can use it to upload files that have a particular different category, and you can so it's just useful if you again had a very static structure of different types of files that you wanted to attach, and you had no existing files to deal with. You had a greenfield site and you wanted this absolute control of your files. It might be a good app, right? So I'll let you decide whether that one is a good app. This one here is two different components that have, there's like a light version and a full version. And I've previously done a bit more of a full review of this one first, because I thought it was going to be the savior of what I wanted, because it does actually show attachments and notes. It is, like, as far as what it displays, it is fabulous. Unfortunately, I can't get past the fact that these buttons don't line up, and there's this button right in the middle of the page, and even on the two different components, they don't line up. And it's got this weird header, and it's got these horrible looking buttons with the labels that don't line up. I just cannot get past the look and the functionality of this component to recommend it. So what I want is this to have, I want to have the ability to turn off notes. I don't want notes. If I don't want to do notes, I don't want to do notes on this thing. I want the ability to set where the files and attachments are shown by default. I want the ability to hide the header. I want this note, again, this note to be hidden. I want this uploads files button to be a little better, or at least have a drag and drop region. I want maybe it to be like a set height with a scroll bar. I don't want that want to be able to control which fields I see. I want this thing here where it's just got the ID number. I want that to show the actual record. But this is great. It's got the contacts with Lauren, with which contact it is, which Doug Ayres' app is missing. I don't want the delete button to be so visible. I want the buttons there to show the details of the files, etc. So, you know, I think this thing is so good yet so bad. And now when I wrote a review of this app on the Appexchange, it just come back to me with saying, oh, well, if you want something extra, you can pay for it. Pay for a custom. So that was not the answer we wanted. So if you can cope with this horrible look there, and you've got a lot of attachments, then this might be the answer for you. Again, they've got this simple one, which is just, I don't like this view at all. And again, it's got this note. There is nowhere in Lightning that a note file, that a button is in the middle of the screen. Nowhere. And there's nowhere, it hasn't even used a standard Lightning web component that has the slot up the top right hand corner where the buttons go. right? So again, really bad. Okay, so but great, if they could just fix those things, it would probably be the best app out there. So the next one is, we're getting down into the ones that are just not so great now. So we'll go back to our list. So there is one that is I couldn't check out because it required a credit card, Files Plus. It looks, pretty good. Again, if you need to, you might need to pay for something like this. I don't. It says list files and attachments. So again, if it was really important, I think have a look at this app. It looks very similar to the standard files related list, which is great. It's got drop files. It's got the filter, the sort. It's got all images files. It's got search. So it looks like a really nice component. It's just unfortunate that it does cost $599 US dollars per month. I just think that's a little high for what it does. Okay, so then I went, but one that is paid that I was able to trial out is the file tree. Now, I did have great hopes for this app. I think it probably could be good. It's what they call, it's very opinionated. And if you like this opinion, great. And if it's going to work for you, great. So it's got a bit of setup that you've got to do. And I don't know why it's not even working now when it was working yesterday. Okay, so anyway, it doesn't have enough information showing it's. I really wanted to like it, but I don't, and it's $5 a month, $4 per user per month. Okay, so that's all of the apps that are related to showing what files and attachments are on your record. That's all the components, I'm going to say. Okay, the rest of them are components or apps that are not on the page, that might be related to a button, or are helping you to display images, or helping you to display documents, or helping you to upload files. Okay, so let's have a start with, again, we'll keep going down the list. So we've got Share and Pix. So whilst we're talking about Share and Pix, we'll have a look at Share and Pix image slider. Okay, so Share and Pix's free version has 3 components. It's got an upload, just a simple upload. So this is actually pretty cool, this upload button. You could have multiple on the page, and because it can add a prefix to your files. So again, if you've got really good control over what files have been added to your app, to your records, you could be able to use this file upload button. Okay, so again, you can just upload a file, and it will add a prefix to that file. Okay, and then it's got, let's just have a look at Share and Pix free images. It's got a static image component, which I didn't set up because it's just pretty basic. But then it's got this image slider. Okay, so these sample images, they don't have an actual image in them, so just ignore those. But we'll get to some kittens at some point in time. So there's a kitten. So this is good. It's really good because it doesn't. This other one I've got here, this image slider, rotates automatically. This one doesn't rotate automatically. So it's really quite nice just to have that image displaying, and any other images you can see in this left right buttons. So I really like this little component. So that's the Share and Pix one. And again, if you want a static image or a static series of images on your page, this Share and Pix one is great for you. Okay, so Share and Pix have a paid app, which is fully fledged photograph image management on your org, but this one is their free components. Okay, so then we'll go on to the image slider, which I use in another org, which is great because now it's not going to behave well because of these sample images here, but this just automatically goes through on a slideshow and has a dark background and just it continuously shows your images. So I've got one client that has on their external app, they take 2 images of the work that they do, and it uploads as attachments. Again, it's a Appexchange apps that has not been upgraded to upload files. It uploads as attachments, and so we just have that here on the page, and it just rotates between those two attachments on each record. And so that is really, really helpful. And so it's a little bit, so both of these are great. It's just whether you want it to auto rotate or manually rotate. So just choose whichever one you want for that. And again, that one image slider handles attachments, so that's really quite good. Okay, so the next one, we're getting now into the uploads components. So this one's Astrea upload, not particularly, useful. So I'm just going to move that back to there, static image. So it just has a couple of different buttons for upload. This one, it might be good if you want a really low profile, different icon, and this one's just got a upload button. Okay, so that one is not too bad. It's simple, just does what it wants. Okay, so now we've got there's a lot of apps that are fully fledged apps that have got apps and pages and buttons and things like this. Okay, what I'm going to do is delve straight into the one that's like, oh, horrible. I just think that apps that look like this should not be on the Appexchange. It's even slow. It's Visualforce. Nothing wrong with Visualforce, but this is slow. Okay. First of all, it's just awful. Awful looking, slow, and it actually doesn't even display anything. I don't know whether there's an extra 10 steps of setup that you've got to do for it, but it was just so awful looking that I couldn't even move forward with looking at it. Well, sorry, I've just got to write it off. I just don't believe an app like this should exist on the Appexchange. If it's not going to be looking and feeling and acting like lightning, it just shouldn't be on the Appexchange. Go and have it on a private, sell it to private people who you can sell to, but don't put it out there on the Appexchange. It looks like it's an app that's built for a particular customer and they've just decided to sell it off. I'm sorry if that sounds harsh. It is just, it's not good. And the fact is it doesn't work out of the box is just not good. Okay, so I think there's a second component to that. I'll just go back. Yeah, so there's a component that is meant to be all documents related to United Oil and Gas. So again, I don't know whether it's got any extra setup, but yeah, no, I'm gonna uninstall this even from my demo org. Okay, so I'll go back to the apps. So now we're getting to the ones that are about uploading, and we've got 2 that are absolutely so similarly named. Again, I think the Appexchange should be onto this and not allow this. So we've got drag and drop file upload and drag, drop and upload Salesforce files. Okay, so there's one that's pretty good and one that is not so good, so let's have a look at drag and drop file upload. Is that drag and drop file upload? Okay, so this one here has a really nice looking tab for uploading documents. Now, I have used this app before in Classic. It was a really good app in Classic, but this is actually not a really nice looking app for documents. So here's so if we go to documents here, and it's got the logos here. So this, it looks good. It looks like Lightning. It's not exactly like Lightning, but it actually looks good. Okay. They've got this upload content thing. And I've got an issue with it, like it has this bug. But again, I don't like this one because it's got, why am I looking at files that are related to records, but in a list? And I don't get why I want to use this document. Okay, so then it also has, if we go back to our record, has a drag and drop file upload thing. But this is the thing. If the standard notes and attachments thing has a drag and drop, no, which one has a drag and drop? Oh, this one here. If this one here has a drop files on here, why even go for something that has a button? So I'm gonna have to work out exactly which button this is. There's two buttons. The two apps have got buttons that look exactly the same, right? I don't think that one is it, but you can see the idea of it. Yeah, that one is it. This one again looks quite ugly. Like, why does it have this two scroll bars? It's not got the it's going over the edge. You can drop here, you can click to browse. So again, whereas the documents tab one looks great, this one looks bad and it has a spelling mistake. But the thing is, it's got this extra feature where you can convert attachments to files on the fly. But then it's got this, this view file and download. Again, just use the standard Lightning Web Components way of doing the little button at the side with the thing. So again, I don't like this. So the only reason I would use that drag and drop file upload one is for the documents tab. There's another documents tab one that is not too bad. Okay, so the other one is not an app, it is just a tab. So let's search for upload documents. Let's see whether that's the one. So this is for documents, and again, this is obviously a Visualforce page that is still quite classic looking, but I actually like it, and I think it does the job to bring the documents tab into Lightning. So the thing is, it is, documents are never going to come to Lightning. So having this tab that looks like this is not too bad, right? So it's got all the features of the standard functionality of the documents tab in Classic, but it actually opens Classic to view it. But I don't mind this one. I really don't mind this one. So that one is the drag, drop, and upload Salesforce files. Now, is this the one that has? Okay, I'm maybe getting myself confused with the two. As I said, it's so confusing that I've got different options. Now, this one has, this is the first one. Okay, this is the one that's got Comic Sans on the page. And it's just like, again, Appexchange, please put some quality control in on your apps. This is absolutely unacceptable that an app looks like this and has Comic Sans on the page. All right, so what this does is allows you to generate a button. So if we choose our account and we want to upload as an attachment, we can generate a button URL, and it's allows us to add an attachment to our file. So this is a good little hack that allows us to still, if we needed to, for some reason, add attachments to files, to records. So this one, upload attachment, is a button that I created. And so again, it's got that spelling mistake there. It's got all the, you can again convert the attachment to files, etc. So look, there is that option also, if you can deal with a spelling mistake or get in touch with them to get them to fix the spelling mistake. Okay. So this quick upload button is on this one. Quick upload. That's quick upload. Oh, that's that one. Okay, I am getting confused. Okay, so this one looks quick. It does the job. We'll just add a few more files. It is quick, right? I don't mind that. So I maybe might use that one. So I've got it as a yellow star meaning might, whereas red star meaning no. Okay, then there's a whole heap here that I can't even look. Some that are this one has vertical nav. Again, I put a Twitter thing into Appexchange saying you've just got to get rid of these apps. If they have not updated their marketing in over 4 years, I'm not even going to look. And this one, because is only in Classic. So there's some options that we can use. Again, I really just highly recommend you use the first two that I showed you, which is this related files component, this documents organizer component. I think those two together is great. I think with this document organizer, you could remove the files related list. Unfortunately, you're still going to have the attachments related list if you've got attachments. But just to be able to have the ability to see emails from here, the attachments on emails from here. Again, this has got a bit of an issue. I don't know why it's gone small like that again. And again, it's got that issue there. But just that ability to see that is just so fabulous. And Doug, please, if you're listening, please give us attachments on this. And I really would love to see, this is just related files. I'd actually love to see all files. So you could just have the one component, and I'd love to have drag and drop to upload from here. Again, if I have to have just the two, that'd be fine too. Again, when you open up your emails, you've got the attachments there. Now, these are attachments, they're not files, which is so weird. You can't have a files related list on here. You can't edit this page in any way, shape or form. You can add a few fields to it if you want. So add it in there, has attachments. And I'll just go through with you how I added these. So I added these via the Salesforce app on the on Google. So remember, this component only works with your Google Apps, for business accounts, not Gmail accounts. And so if I log this email, see, we can include the attachments, and you have to click one at a time, unfortunately. So if we were to remove those PNGs, we could save that, and it changes those attachments. So that's there. So it says they're attachments, but they're created as files. Okay. And the other way that you can do it is forward your emails to Salesforce. But again, you've got a bit of a trick here. Is you've got to have it in your settings. My email to Salesforce. You've got to have always save email attachments turned on to have the attachments in there. Now, of course, you are going to have then the issue with people who have not set up their emails correctly and have their logos on their emails as attachments. And there is an app to help you deal with that, but it does cost money, and that is Internet Creations. And that is the Signature Slayer app. Okay, so it's a little pricey, but it, you know, you can remove all sorts of apps in it, and you can you know, all sorts of files, and you can deal with it in bulk, and you can set up rules, and it's looks like it's a pretty good app. I haven't used it. I'm about to use it with a client, so I think it's well worth looking at that app. Okay, so I really hope that helps you to organize your files, and but whatever you do, just come through to this components list, whether you're looking for files or not. I need to probably do another whole video on the best components that I found, but there is a whole heap of components here that are quite good. There's some terrible ones, but there's some good ones, and you know, just go and have a look at them and play with them and download them and test them out in your sandbox so you can see how this is going to work for you. Okay.